With the peel?
Yeah, with
the
a little,
peel?
I know, with a little twist.
Oh. Hello there, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Today, I have a special guest here, and we're gonna do some Q&A questions. And well, it's Olivia, Witch of Wanderlust.
Hello.
Wow.
Yeah, we both asked on our Instagram pages, just ask us a question. We didn't really get very specific.
No, we didn't even specify each other, and that may have been a mistake to some degree, but
It's fine.
it's fine.
But I also asked my Patreons, and they get Patreon priority. So I'm gonna ask those first. Okay, Vanessa asks, what are your favorite mythological animal and non-mythical animal? Dragons? I love dragons.
Oh, they're so cool. I find sirens terrifying and beautiful, so maybe sirens.
Yeah.
And then non-mythical.
Non-mythical. I guess, what's your favorite animal? Is that basically that question?
Is a dog cheating? I feel like a dog is really basic, but I have my child.
What is mine? Bears?
Bears.
Or owls?
Ooh.
I love owls.
Oh, ravens.
Hey, there you go. Birds.
Birds. I love birds.
Birds. Simply Ollie asks, what do you feel helps bond the two of you together so well?
Probably
Spite.
Yeah. I mean, no, seriously. Well, we both work on the same platform.
Being a witchy content creator is so niche.
It's very unique.
It's so niche.
It's really it's
It's really, really, really niche. Yeah. Because regular content creators are very different than witchy ones.
Yeah, and I think there's just a lot to bond over with that, and just the experiences. I mean, it's different from anybody else I've ever talked to, and that's probably one of the bigger things. And then also we are actually really
similar. Yeah, a lot of our experiences growing up and stuff. When the first time I met Annie, we were like, did we live a similar life? Like way too similar?
I know. It led us to the same path.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting.
It is really interesting. Marina asks, how do you think your practices most differ from each other, and what's the most similar between them? And that was one of the most common questions in our Instagram also. How do you think our practices differ the most?
I am very home-based and kitchen-based. I do a lot of my things are also physical crafts that are either consumables as well. That's I don't know if it's a majority of my craft, but it's a majority of what I share. For sure. And it's a big piece of what I do.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just also definitely more herb-based. Like that is my primary working area.
Whereas mine is more on the folk practices themselves, like the actual spell casting and the superstitions around those things. I'm earth based, but not herb based. I have so much to learn about actual herb work, and
whereas that's
what you do.
What I do.
Yeah, exactly. I think those are the biggest things. Yeah. And I do a lot of spirit work.
Yeah, and I work with land spirits, and that's about as far as I go.
Whereas, I don't interact a ton with unfamiliar spirits, but I work with more than just land spirits. So I think that's probably the biggest difference, the most similar between ours.
I mean, we're both very folk-based.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's different the way that we've interpreted it in our crafts, but it ultimately comes from...
Well, do you remember when we were trying to explain to your friend what the difference is of a forest being asleep and awake, and both of us we knew that each other understood exactly what we were trying to get at. So you and I were on the same side, being no, this is what it's like. This is what we mean.
Yeah.
And I think that our perspective of how
our perception of the magical world, or the world in general, and how we perceive magic within it.
I think that's really similar, and that's so hard to find.
That doesn't happen.
No, that does not happen. That's so hard to, even my other witchy friends have very different perspectives and perceptions of how they experience the magical world. So I think that's the biggest thing of why I feel we clicked really well. Yeah. And then Alex, the last one, I like to keep my craft very personal, but also be able to share knowledge and experiences with friends who also practice. How do you create a boundary between what you're willing to share and what feels too personal? Yeah, that's a good question.
That's a good question. I mean, that's what we have to figure out every day.
Constantly.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. And it's hard. I mean, and I've overstepped where I want to share before and have really regretted that.
Me too. Literally, I upset myself earlier today because of that. I was like,
yeah, and I do that a lot, and that was something when I first started making videos I really had to figure out a lot.
yeah.
I think for me, at least, it's something I share a lot of spells and things that are shareable already. Something that I only really like to share aspects of my craft that I feel I would give to someone else anyways. Like my recipe videos are a good example of that. Sharing recipes with people, sharing spell work, it's something that you already are actively giving away. But I think the biggest thing that holds me back often, anything that is really deep and essential to my understanding of my craft and my being, I don't want it to be interpreted differently and then given back to me in a different interpretation necessarily. I don't know if that is perfectly stated, but
like anything that is my personal belief, I'll share a little bit of, but like if it's something that is really, really close to me, I just won't, because at the end of the day, like people are just going to give their unwanted opinions when I'm like, nobody fucking asked you, but like I didn't ask, but like, so I don't want the opinions on that, and I just won't.
That's it. If it's something that you're like, this is...
I don't want opinions on.
I don't want... This is really important to me, and I am very content with how it is, and I don't want it to be questioned.
Yeah. I think that's a big... And, like, if it just doesn't feel like you want to share it, like, if it feels like you're overstepping a boundary, then you're probably overstepping your own boundary. All right. Questions from your Instagram.
What do you do when you feel out of touch with your craft? How do you get back to feeling magical?
I take a break.
Yeah.
I don't force it, like, because if I'm forcing it, it just makes me hate it more. Yeah. And then I'll focus on like the really, 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 really simple things, like the super easy things where if I'm like taking a walk and I see like the land guardian, just like touching the leaves of that tree or like doing whatever, like that I still feel like is a part of the practice, and you're still interacting with the spirit, but it's not like, you're not like giving it offerings or like doing a ritual with it. Like it's just kind of like a, hey, how's it going?
Yeah, it's an acknowledgement.
Yeah, I take a break,
I agree with that. I tend to not force it, not push it, and I go back to the base stuff. I go back to my roots and what makes me comfortable, and which is a lot of like herbalism based things and just being in nature and enjoying myself and not forcing anything.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think like, well, then I'm gonna have to like meditate all the time and then also pray more and also, I don't know, like, do all these spells and rituals and it's like, you're just gonna burn yourself out and you're gonna fucking hate doing it.
Yeah, you have to, it's something that should be a joyful and exciting part of your life, not uncomfortable and annoying. Yeah. How goes the haunted table?
What haunted table? Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let us know.
I think good. So, I mean, that's the main reason you're here.
Yes.
I got it out of the house, and I'm pretty sure I got it out of the table. That's what we decided. But whatever it was still kind of lingering on the property. And the first day you were here, you were like,
I pointed out exactly where it was too. Yeah.
And
I was like, it's over there, isn't it? And you were like, yeah.
Yeah. So that, I was very glad of that. Well, not glad that it was here, but glad that you...
Validating.
It was validating. And so the house had been good, the table was good, but I hadn't brought it back yet. And we brought it in. We did a ritual that kind of felt like bringing a machine gun to a squirrel fight.
We kicked him out.
It's gone. It was gone before we were even close to... We were starting and it was gone.
Yeah.
But I will talk more about it on my vlog channel, and I have some footage of it to some degree. We mainly really just have recreated footage of it because we were...
Yeah, we didn't really want to like record the actual
stuff.
Ritual.
But it goes well.
It goes very well.
Is there a part of each other's practices that you adopted into your own? If so, what?
Well, you gave me that goldenrod oil when I saw you for a brief moment.
And you've given me
Colorado.
oils.
I have, yes.
Yeah.
So, but like my oils are infused, but they're not the same.
Yours are
mine are
crafted.
Yeah, mine are like, I want to say like magical oils. Like yours are too, but mine are.
Mine also work medicinally.
Yeah, whereas mine are straight magical oils. They're mixtures of things, and they're not medicinal at all. Whereas I would like to like start adopting more medicinal things into. Oh, I started making like sleepy teas and stuff for my friends, and so like that kind of. Baby steps.
And for me, like a lot of my practice has very much been, based in herbalism, and I have been branching out more into strict witchcraft stuff that's not just based in medicine, which has been big for me and a big. I feel like it's pushed my craft to a level that I was not always comfortable with, and I like it a lot now. So.
I like that.
Yeah, especially with oils.
I love oil. I am such an oil whore.
They're so great.
I love them so much. I mean, like I use the magical oils all the time, but the goldenrod oil that you gave me, I need to strain.
I do too.
And I get back like now, but
I'll do that tomorrow.
yeah. But I think I'd really like to start using more. Oh well, I mean, okay, this is not the same thing, but like when I was doing that cocktail that I was telling you about, I did a lot of. It didn't feel medicinal, but it was like a lot of infusing herbs with like syrups and things like that, and that was it was like a shareable.
Yeah, shareables are my go-to.
And shareable is so good. Like a lot of my craft is really sneaky, and a lot of people might be like, what? It's sneaky, and that's all I'm gonna say. But like shareables is like a great way to do it if you're not open about your craft too. So.
And it doesn't have to be for spooky purposes. It can be for good ones. It can be spooky too if you wish. But
yeah, that's like what most of them are. Like especially if you're like in a coworker's environment or something, and you're like, oh, Christmas party, I'm gonna make some cookies, and like good cookies, like cookies.
Bring like just
prosperity
joy.
or joy.
Prosperity. I owe prosperity.
Prosperity.
But those are
I think that's how I swapped. Oh wait, what did you get from mine? Did we say that?
Yeah.
I got like pure witchcraft.
More pure witchcraft, and I also you've increased my interest in oils because I used to only make them for medicinal purposes, and now I'm like, oh,
you can use them they're so versatile.
Yeah, and I'd only ever really used them here and there in magic, but now it's very much a big piece of what I do.
I love them. I love them. My next one is powders.
Ooh,
because I love powders are a good time.
Do you change your practice when you travel?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we were talking about this earlier about the plantain. Like, again, our perspectives on the magical world are very, very similar. So one herb use can interact with that spiritual environment very differently than in a different spiritual environment, such as, or a different spiritual culture, because
I think that plantain is the best example. Like, I love plantain for its medicinal values, but I don't use it magically at all. We are American, obviously, and in America, it goes by the name white man's foot very commonly, and it's because it followed the Europeans. Because it likes to follow foot trails, and so the native people gave it the name of white man's foot. And so here it feels very different, and I would not personally feel comfortable working it into my craft. It just has a different feeling to me here
compared to if you were to work with it
in Europe.
Like same thing. Because okay, so for example, when I carve in with my candles, I have a stingray barb. Love that thing, but it just feels like I use it a lot, but I will really only use it for like if I'm doing like protection work, if I'm like carving stuff in. Like when I was in Asia, I brought my stingray barb, and it's so much easier to use that like there for some reason. It just feels better to use it in way more workings and like more of an array of workings, whereas here Frankie actually, they use a porcupine quill, and it just works better. You know, like
No, exactly. I mean, I think that everything magically kind of has a culture almost.
Yeah, like, and if you work within that culture, things are gonna work out so much better.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, and I guess how do you adapt? It's like just looking at the culture around you.
Yeah, it's, and I always, a lot of my stuff, I work with native plants, and so I just try to see what is in abundance and supposed to be there.
Also, personally, I like meeting new spirits. So it's more of just kind of like when you're walking around in a new place, kind of getting the vibe of like how chatty it is. So like when I went to New Orleans, I was explaining to Annie, I was like, it's like if the spirit realm was New York, that's what it feels like. And I had to always have something on my head or like veil in some way because they are so loud and so abrasive there. And it's not a bad thing, it's just very, very abrasive and overwhelming for somebody who has lived in a place like Colorado for most of my life that...
It's not like that.
Yeah, like spirits are just like, oh wait, like you can like, you can tell that I'm here. Whereas like New Orleans, they know that you know. And they don't give a fuck if you know. Like they'll, yeah. So... very different, but it's like nice to have that interaction, I think, just to kind of like get to know the local spirits. I think that's important.
Yeah, and I feel like you miss out if you don't try to adapt to the environment. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like if you're in a cold place, you go to a warm place, you need to change into a...
You need to change clothes.
Yeah. And if you're going somewhere where they speak a different language, you probably need to learn at least a little bit of that language.
At least the important phrases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And magically, the world is similar.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That is a really good question.
That's a really good question.
Yeah. Do you think that two different witches with two different beliefs can cast one spell together? I don't know. Sure. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Probably.
Maybe. I don't have any experience personally. Yeah. So couldn't really tell you. Did you celebrate the new moon together? Did we?
Kinda. I feel like this is kind of to both of us. Oh. Wow. That's fancy. Would you ever go back to long hair?
Yes. Am currently.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I liked my long hair, but I also like my short hair. I think my short hair fits me better.
Yeah.
Like my personality.
Yeah, I think, and you pull it off really well.
Thank you. Yeah. I like you with short hair too.
I love me with short hair, and I probably will have short hair again. I do like having long hair for cinematic video purposes.
Fair. Yeah, see, that is...
Yeah.
It is a thing. Like, yeah. Oh.
And I do miss getting to do fun braids.
They look so cute on you.
I love them. But... yes, I am currently growing my hair out. That's why it's looking really unique.
You know the this might come off as
I'm ready.
As an insult, but it's not. It reminds me of like Animal Crossing hair, like because of like the little flare out, and it just like it makes me think of like the cute Animal Crossing, and I actually like it gives me nostalgic vibes. So like I like it, but I don't want it to come off as like.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
mean.
Right now, I feel like those boys in middle school that played baseball. You know.
Oh my god.
You know who I'm talking about though. Like it really didn't carry on beyond middle school.
No, it did. It didn't.
Yeah, it didn't. Maybe
and
like one or two.
Freshman year. Maybe freshman year.
But not any further.
Nothing after that. Yeah. Oh so shit, that's funny.
That's where it's at right now. Yeah.
Oh.
It was like post early Justin Bieber phase too.
Oh my god. Next question. Oh Lord. Okay. This question is there anything I should be focusing on more right now? So I'm gonna pull out these cards and we're gonna pull one.
Let's see.
Cards do not want to tell you anything.
Oh,
that's a lot of cards. I'm not reading that. I'm gonna pull one card and this thing threw a bunch at me. Give me one card, please.
It was a big sign.
It was. Here, we're gonna We'll pull a different card. How about like yourself? Focus on yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah,
listen to your intuition.
This one is usually pretty talkative too. I don't know why it's not giving me anything.
Maybe it thinks you're on the right path. And just focus on what you're doing currently.
This one's a lot meaner than that. I don't know. All right. Well, basically it gave me the Six of Swords last time. And I feel like it's just like, no, you take it or leave it. So whatever you need to leave behind, you need to leave that shit behind is basically what it's saying. Anyway.
I think that's...
Yeah. So don't hold on to the past is basically what it's saying. That's what you should be focusing on, of letting go. Next question. Have either of you done a cord cutting spell?
I have not.
Really? You haven't?
I haven't needed to.
That's so lucky. There's so many people that I have cut out and I'm just like, go away.
Yeah. I think I'm good enough at that.
I feel like I am too. Like, I'm a very abrupt person.
For me, I haven't had to use magical intervention to cut people out of my life when necessary. Well, maybe I should have, but I didn't choose to.
I think, well, cord cutting is also a lot of like emotional cutting out too. So
Yeah.
even if you are able to like completely mundanely cut them out, like emotionally, you're like, why do I still feel connected to this person? That's also like a really good cord cutting.
I know my personal boundaries really well. And I also am very focused on what is important to me.
Same.
And I can think of a few instances where that kind of a spell would have been really useful, but I don't think I was personally ready enough at that point.
Yeah.
In my own emotional stage to do that. Where I probably should have, like, it would have been more responsible too.
Well, I know also I've had other practitioners, less experienced practitioners, but other practitioners like connect us because they wanted to be connected. And again, free will is still a thing.
Yeah.
So regardless of if they wanted, like, how they wanted us to be connected was not a thing. But we were connected and I just could not fucking get rid of this person. So doing a cord cutting was so much easier. So like, it wasn't like I was emotionally attached.
Yeah.
They were, or maybe they weren't, and they just like, I don't know what the reasoning was, but well, I do, but whatever. So like, you know, like the connection of like, you just want to sever that spiritually also.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess to answer, that was a really long-winded way to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
To answer. Yeah. But yeah, no, but I think that's also important because it's also, that's a kind of working that you have to be very concrete in what you want.
It's also a good working.
It is.
I think more people should be doing cord cuttings for sure. I think we have one more question. Oh, all right. This is a good one to end off of. What is your favorite video you've ever made?
I think I have two. But
Okay. Add them to the end screen.
Oh yeah, I'll add them to the end screen. Although I want to add, maybe I'll link them. What if I link them?
Yeah, link them.
I'll link them in the description.
You can do the little thing up here.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah.
Up there. You can click on it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can add those things.
Yeah.
The cards.
Yeah, they're both on the other channel. That
Your Annabelle or your Green Witch?
Annabelle. Here is, I've separated this to be witchcraft only, whereas the other one is still like where I get to work on passion projects that are not necessarily related to.
I know which
teaching.
one of the videos you're talking about. It's fucking good. I love that video.
I put my heart and soul into that.
You could feel it. I remember watching it and being like, oh my god, I'm feeling something. It was like emotions.
That's my goal.
Oh god.
See, my favorite videos are the ones where when I still look back, while I can see things that I would change now, I still feel very proud of what I created and what I had at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh fuck, I don't know mine. It would have to be a recent one. I hate all of my old videos. I really do. All of them are like cringy as fuck and like they're filmed on a potato and like they're shaky. Like there's too many things about them that I'm just like, ugh. But I really like my money bowl video, the newest one. The money crash course in money. I don't know what the fuck. It's the newest one. I like that one a lot. I also really love my vlogs, but that's because they're like really personal and I get to like years later I'll be able to look back and be like, oh yeah.
Well, that's why I like my other ones too.
That's the only reason I started making
Yeah,
videos in the
yeah.
first place, in complete honesty.
Yeah, it documents your life.
Yeah, so I think anything recent I'm pretty proud of. But maybe in a year or two I'll be like, ugh. I kind of hope so.
Yeah, no, it's good. That means you're growing.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, no, seriously, I look back and I'm horrified at what I was like, this is the best thing I've ever made, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah. So, you know, one day. I think that's my last question, though.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys, that's it for the questions. So thank you so much for watching, and go check out Olivia's channel. We are about to go do some tea leaf readings.
Tasseography.
I'm very excited. I don't have a lot of experience with this, and so I'm going to be learning something new.
And I brought some good ass tea,
Yes.
so
it'll be exciting. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you over there. It'll be linked at the end.
bye.
Bye.